All right, welcome in, everyone. It is Debate This. This is where we go 3 and out by design. 3 questions, okay? There's going to be a winner and a loser. And even in the offseason, Darren, it is always a game of matchups. Here we go. Paul Calvisi, Darren Urban. Buckle the old chin strap, Darren, as we kick it to our moderator, Jacob. He's going to read, and we react. Jacob.
All right, here's the first topic. Darren, this one goes to you. The Cardinals have to spend their first-round pick on a cornerback.
I am going to say that's false right now, Paul, because quite frankly, you don't want to be boxed in like that to say, hey, we're going to take a cornerback in the first round. I think that's a mistake. Now, in a perfect world, is there a good cornerback there that they can take in the first round? I think that would work out for me and as well as you. But do I think they have to? No, I think that's a big mistake. And I think there's other players on the board that if those top 3 cornerbacks, let's say, are gone, I think you want to go in a different direction.
You have to make it appear you don't need cornerback, but you still need cornerback desperately. And they've done that. Malcolm Butler, they filled other holes, whether it's J.J. Watt or now James Conner, offensive lineman. So seemingly they can take the best player available. No, don't believe that. You need at least 3 good corners to be viable in the NFL. Once again, it's a game of matchups. It'll be a liability. You have Malcolm Butler. He's 31 on a 1-year deal. You have Byron Murphy, but he's a slot guy. And then you have Robert Alford. And we love Robert Alford. He hasn't been healthy since 2017. You must use pick number 16 on that corner. And you know what? The deepest position in this draft is edge rusher, according to Drew Grigson on the Big Red Rage. So then you target that pass rusher in round 2.
Maybe. I guess ultimately I just say it is, I think of Steve Keim always talking about your needs in May are not the same as September as December. And I think you just need to be careful. It's never best player available anymore. We all know how things are ranked based on where your roster is, but I don't think they have to get a cornerback.
Now on to the next topic. Paul, we'll start with you. The Cardinals should draft a wide receiver with one of their first 2 picks.
No, absolutely not. A, for what I just explained, how they need corner in round 1. B, I don't trust taking receivers in the first 2 rounds of the draft. A year ago, there were 13 receivers taken in the first 2 rounds. That's an all-time NFL record. 2 had an instant impact. Justin Jefferson was a star, but I mean, think of some of the other names that were in that draft last year, whether it was Henry Ruggs or CeeDee Lamb. Think of it, all the guys who didn't make an impact. You know, Jalen Reagor, Denzel Mims, right? Besides, you have 2 former second-round picks in Christian Kirk and Andy Isabella who need snaps. They need to prove themselves. You can't muck that up right now by going receiver in the first 2 rounds of this draft.
I'm hesitant to give you too much credit, Paul, because I just don't like giving you credit. But ultimately, I can see kind of where you're coming from. But I do say that if there is a receiver there in those first 2 rounds that makes a lot of sense, I don't see how you pass on. I mean, if let's say what we were just talking about, the cornerbacks, if those guys are all off the board, and let's say Alabama's Devontae Smith is there at number 16, the Heisman winner who people are comparing to some Hall of Fame type receivers, do you pass him up? I don't know if that's smart. And knowing that Christian Kirk's going in the last year of his deal, knowing that A.J. Green, you don't know what you're going to get after this year, and ultimately you don't know what you have in Andy Isabella, I don't think you can just out of hand say don't take a receiver with those first couple of picks.
All right, and now on to the last topic. Darren, we'll close out with you. The position of running back is set for 2021.
That's a great question, Jacob, and I would say no, because I think, again, if all of a sudden there is a running back in this draft, and it doesn't have to be those first 2 picks. I mean, if we start looking at some of those later picks, especially they've got a number of picks, they have 2 7th-round picks. Hey, you can find a running back in the 7th round these days. And I know people are going to ask about Eno Benjamin and what could happen there, or could James Conner even be the starter over Chase Edmonds? I think you can't be ruling anything out. James Conner's on a 1-year deal. Chase Edmonds going into the last year of his deal. We don't know what Eno Benjamin has. I don't think you can be ruling anything out, and that includes running back, and so we'll see what they do in the draft. But I would say that I wouldn't say it's set. It wouldn't be horrible if this is what they had, but I don't think it's set.
I would say the running back room is set until it isn't, meaning until perhaps that Travis Etienne falls to you in round 2. Even some mock drafts have Najee Harris incomprehensibly fallen into round 2. If that guy falls into your lap, then all of a sudden the running back room is not set. But right now, you have Chase Edmonds and you have James Conner, thunder and lightning, if you will. You have two guys on prove-it deals, one-year contracts, seemingly pushing each other, plus some talent behind them you got out of last year's draft. So as of right now, you like the salary cap number at that position. You don't want to add to that unless you're getting the guy that's going to be your future. Remember, the draft is all about 2 or 3 years out. And if that guy falls to you in round 2, perhaps, or maybe a little lower, then boom, pull the trigger. Otherwise, I'm good with running back as it is.
Running back's a year-to-year thing anymore anyways. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Ooh, now it's time to pick a winner on this one. I have to tell you guys the truth. It's splitting hairs at this point. So with the pressure on, topic 2 was a tiebreaker. Lists, names, numbers, and even mock drafts. Paul Calvisi, this one goes to you.
Well, at least that saves me from having to file the papers on a protest, as opposed to the initial venture against Kyle and the original debate this. So there you go.
I'm hurt. I'm broken.
That'll sting. We know, Darren. Give us your opinion on this edition of Debate This.